What's up? What's up, fam? How's everybody doing tonight? Kyle Henderson, BAMA football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. What you saw at the beginning of the screen, those are our fan funders. If you want to become a fan funder, join this channel. Hit the join button. I appreciate you guys more than you know. Let me know where you guys are coming from. I'm coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. We go right to the phone lines tonight, and these are the questions that I'm asking you. You make the call. Is Bama a top 10 team? I want to get your thoughts on Jalen Milroe. The bright spot of Saturday was what? For me, I already talked about it a little bit, was the running backs. I really liked how the running backs came with it. And keys to beating Tennessee. I want to get your early take as Alabama goes in this game. I saw that Alabama's favored by 8.5 points going to that game. Line's pretty high. And your bold prediction, we could call it a mid-October bold prediction, but I want to get a bold prediction. All this and more coming up right here on Bama Football on YouTube. We go to the phone lines, and it's a 251. Let's get it started. Hey, good evening. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, it's Robert from Mobile.
What's up, Robert? I appreciate you batting leadoff, man. What's on your mind? Welcome to the show.
Well, let's see. Your question was, is Alabama a top 10 team? Well, if North Carolina's a top 10 team and Alabama's a top 10 team, we're just not going to get any respect until we start winning impressively and play 4 quarters. And it is about time for this team to start playing 4 quarters. I mean, the first half, once again, it's a game of 2 halves. It was the first half this time, and the second half they didn't show up, which is so bizarre. But, yeah, it's you keep wondering, what can we do? Where do you put your finger on the problem with the team? The stats on the offense are just terrible. I mean, there's just no way around it. The offense can put together 4 consistent quarters, or a good, I guess let's say a good half, 2 good halves, and to really lay down the hammer on the team. We've only had one game where we played well from beginning to end. That was the first game of the season. After that, it's been struggle after struggle after struggle. That has to finally start ending. We're getting closer where these games are going, and these polls are going to start really working against us. We got lucky yesterday with Notre Dame beating USC, so that's at least one undefeated team out of the way. And, of course, Washington and Oregon, one of them had to win. So that's 2 undefeated teams out of the way. But there's still a lot of undefeated teams ahead of us that have, all they need is 4 of them to go undefeated, which that can still happen. And without Alabama looking all that impressive, and we can end up with an SEC team not making the playoffs. Now, all of those teams going undefeated, that's unlikely, but it's possible. And the SEC right now doesn't have anything to hang our hats on because of how our teams have been playing, and Alabama included in one of them. I mean, once again, they were just a player or 2 away from completely blowing the team out, and they don't make those play or 2 where they can win comfortably and blow a team out, or in the case of Texas, just lose outright. It's really puzzling. What's it take to stop making those key penalties and stop fixing an offensive line where we're not giving up averaging 4 sacks a game for the last 4 games, probably 4 games. I looked at the stats on the sacks. We're like only 4 teams, only 3 teams are worse than us. We're giving up sacks. Only 3 in all of college football. There isn't a single top 12 team, other than Alabama, that's given up over 12 sacks this season. Alabama's given up 26. That's embarrassing numbers right now. And it's got a good portion of that, of course, is offensive line. But some of that is Jalen Milroe. Dude, you got to get that instinct of when to run, when to throw the ball away, when to hit your check down, quicker, so that you don't take these sacks. Okay, your offensive line is shaky, then the quicker decisions have to be made. And the offensive coordinator call routes where no one has to wait. The offensive line doesn't have to hold in order for the receiver to go downfield, since they're not holding consistently enough. our left tackle is, I mean, the guy was getting embarrassed yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And that's of course, that's the blind side. But, okay, Miro, you got to feel when the guy, okay, he doesn't have it today, or get that feeling, and throw it to your check down. Recognize when you got a guy open in the flat, throw it to that flat sooner. And, of course, there were a few missed passes that, okay, if you just give me some game manager, Greg McElroy, A.J. McCarron, Jake Coker type throws, I don't need you to be Mr. Deep Ball like Tua and Mac and Bryce. I just need you to make it underneath there, that the 12-yard, that 10-yard, that 5-yard on a consistent basis. Then this team's unstoppable. But we just can't seem to get that consistency on the offensive side. On the defensive side, okay, they have that one turning point of the game that we all know was that face mask. And I saw Nick Saban's show. He said, I kept looking for it. I never saw it. I thought it was on the guy when he was tackling him on the sideline. But no, it was away from the play that he got that face mask off. That turned the game around for the defensively. But offensively, okay, the defense, it wasn't one making you go 3 and out, 3 times in a row? We got to clean that up in the second half, or, in the first and second half. And what it's going to take to do that, I really don't know. These ugly wins are going to cost us if it turns into a beauty contest between us and another one-loss conference champion.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they'll just look at us, hey, but that team dominated. Yeah. So if it turns into that, folks, we may be on the losing end if we don't start cleaning this up.
I think on with Robert from Mobile, Alabama. I appreciate you calling in. And welcome, by the way, to the show. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. Tennessee at Alabama is up next. Third weekend of October. Time is 2:30. TV is CBS. Alabama, surprisingly, an 8.5-point favorite. I'm sure that line will go down as we get closer to game time. I want to ask you guys, you make the call tonight. Robert opened up talking about Alabama and kind of where they sit in the rankings. And I think Robert's right in terms of it could be a beauty contest if Alabama does keep winning because of the fact that other teams, even though they are going to play and there's going to be some losses, these wins just are not pretty. The Texas A&M one was thrilling. It was a 6-point win at Texas A&M. Then you have a 3-point win against Arkansas. Looking at all the comments today on the YouTube channel, it felt more like a loss, right? It was like a kind of an ugly win, and Saban wasn't satisfied. Jalen Milroe wasn't satisfied. Nobody was satisfied. I can see it. I can hear it. Okay, Robert, let's run through these real quick before I get to my next caller. Give me a quick assessment of Jalen Milroe.
A grade, whatever you want.
Just like an assessment, just like, impressed. He's progressing, not impressed. Go ahead.
This last game, of course, not impressed. It's, we know you can throw the deep ball when you have time. But unfortunately, deep balls are what are low percentage play because they're low percentage. So your money is made underneath. Your 10 yards, your 5 yards, your 15 yards ranges there. That's where all the money's made. That's where you move the chain mover, the game manager type throws. That's what I need. That's what we need now. And calling someone a game manager isn't a bad thing. That's where the majority of quarterbacks spend their time, managing the game. So we don't need the hero balls, deep balls. So they look great. All those deep balls yesterday for touchdown look fantastic. Unfortunately, they'll come few and far in between. The majority of passes are going to be in that mid-range. So until he cleans that up, there's a lot of work left to do. Not real impressive. You missed some throws. Offense. Oh, what was the other question?
What was the bright spot of Saturday? And the reason I asked that, because I had a video that went out and I talked about the top 10. And for me, it was actually the variety of running backs. I saw a lot of positives from that running back group. It seemed like they all were capable of being the guy. Jace ran well. Roydell ran well. Jam Miller, when Jam Miller runs north and south, he's a great running back because he's so powerful. When he's just not a side-to-side guy. So he has to run north and south. And then Justice Haynes, he only had 2 opportunities for 11 yards, but when he gets the ball, it's exciting. Like something is going to happen eventually the more opportunities you get. So what was your bright spot on Saturday?
You hit the nail on the head. The running game was definitely picking up. That's what kind of falls on the offensive coordinator for getting away from it too soon.
Mm-hmm.
He should have leaned more on the run more in the second half than he did. And I guess it's an instinct when to do it, when to not. But it seemed like we could have stuck with it a little longer. And again, speaking of running, that's another thing with Milroe. You can't carry the label dual threat quarterback when 2 games in a row you have yet to get positive yards rushing. That's got to change too, man. When you see that hole, you have got to start hitting it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Texas A&M was minus 39. This last game, he was minus 15 rushing.
Yep.
That's not no, man. You got to get that number back up again, and take off. His instincts for taking off right now are just not really good, and that will help us a lot. There's a gaping hole there, take it. It's because you got a spy on it. Hey, you can't. That needs to stop Cam Newton. He run him over or run around him. That's what you're gonna have to start doing there if we're gonna try to take this season to where we hope it can go.
All right, 2 more questions for you, Robert. First one is, what's the key to beating Tennessee this next Saturday?
Oh, I'm not real impressed with Tennessee. Of course, I wasn't impressed with Arkansas. Really, the key is the offensive line and Milroe, because the defense is set. We're all good with the defense. So we don't need to focus on it too tough. It's the offense. The offense is going to put up some points because we're going to have to start winning impressively. It's not just beating Tennessee. We got to win impressively because this is this kind of a season. We got to make this team has to look good winning. Can't be no more ugly wins. So the offensive line and Milroe with his decision making on when to run and when to pass and hitting the underneath.
All right, and my last question for you, Robert, is what is your mid-October bold prediction?
Oh, I might go outside the SEC here. I'm looking for Washington to lose their next game.
You know what? I thought Washington and Oregon were better than I thought, to be honest. Because usually when I watch those Pac-12 teams, it's kind of like the team that played Notre Dame last night. Like, I'm just not impressed with them. They're like turnover plagued, or there's a ton of points and there's no defense. Notre Dame looked great last night, but I still don't understand why they stormed the field after beating USC. I thought that was kind of comical, being that they had just were beaten by Louisville, and then Louisville lost to Pittsburgh. So that it kind of just like, it shows kind of the true colors. And then I was asking, and this is trivia for you guys inside the comment box, honestly, when was the last time that Alabama rushed the field? Seriously, when was it? I don't know. Maybe I'm sure there's someone inside the comment box that knows that, but I don't know. So Robert, what's
I'm 57. I'm 57. I've never seen them rush the field.
Yeah, right.
In my entire year of watching football.
All right. Yeah, right. Like, thank you. Never. It's like, okay, yeah, win. Anyways, okay, Robert, you're what? Did we get a bold prediction? I'm sorry, I got caught off guard. We have a bold prediction from you?
I want to say the next game is Arizona.
Oh, okay. So you have Washington losing. Okay, I got you. Hey, Robert. Well, thank you so much for batting leadoff. I appreciate you always with your support. Please call again next time.
I do.
All right, that was Robert from Mobile. We got a 470. Looks like we got Demetrius on the line, and then we got an 832 that just joined. If you called in, we have 4 lines. Okay, so and if you hear busy signal, that just means that it is busy. You can become a fan funder, and the fan funding actually helps with the call lines because I do have to pay for the call lines, and this is a graphic of the fan funders right now. So fan funders, you can hit the join button at the bottom of this video. Remember, this is what I do for a living, so I appreciate you guys joining fan funding. The ultimate fan funders on the left, all of you guys from now on will be pinned in the Nick Saban press conference post, as recognized as you guys are proud supporters of this Bama YouTube channel. So I appreciate you guys. Level 2, you guys will be recognized as people who support the call-in show in the call-in line because it does cost. The Champions Club all the way to the top left. Dwayne, you'll just be thanked every single live show. We'll create a graphic where you are recognized in the Champions Club. And then the level 1 fan funders, you guys can use emojis, badges, and those are things that you can get for level 1 fan funders. And of course, if you're level 2 and if you're ultimate fan funder, you get access to all that. To find out more, hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. Okay, with that said, we go back to the phone lines and we got a 470 and we start right now. Hey, thanks for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, it's Andrew from Douglasville, bro. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Andrew? I appreciate it, man. Tonight we're playing You Make the Call. Is Bama a top 10 team? Thoughts on Milroe, bright spot from Saturday. Keys to beating Tennessee, your bold prediction. And I'm happy that you have called in. I appreciate you supporting the channel, man. So with that said, is Bama a top 10 team? Because according to the AP poll right now, Alabama is not. In fact, North Carolina just jumped them, so they are number 11. What's your take?
Hey, if like Rob said, if NC is a top 10 team, I think Bama is. But and all jokes aside, I think if Bama plays a whole 60 minutes to the best of its ability, well, we're definitely a top 10 team. We just haven't played a full 60 minutes of football.
Yeah.
To the Bama standard, So I think we keep improving each week. And I think as long as we keep improving and when we finally put together whole 60 minutes of football, definitely going to be a dominant team. And then on Milroe, I think Milroe played really well. I mean, obviously he threw some deep bombs in that first half. I just think he was a little bit hesitant to run at some points. He held on to the football a little too much sometimes. So I think if he doesn't see his first read or second read, he has to get rid of that football. He has to use his legs. He's been holding on to it a little too much, which I'd rather him hold on to it than throw a pick. But then, if he holds on to it, he's going to take a sack. So that's not good. So he either needs to use his legs or throw it away. Other than that, though, I thought he did pretty well. And then the bright spot, I agree with what Rob said. The running backs were really good. I think we had like over 100 yards of rush in that third quarter. I don't know what the heck Tommy Reeves was doing though. He should have just kept the football on the ground instead of trying to throw the football so much. That just doesn't make sense to me. So hopefully against Tennessee we'll run the football because obviously we know we can run the football and then we see the deep ball go for the deep ball, but definitely running the football. Keys to beating UT. I think if we play a whole 60 minutes of football, and that's actually another bright spot. Only 5 penalties. Now, one of those penalties, flipped on a switch with Arkansas. That face mask, after that face mask, they didn't look back. So we just gave up, almost gave up that whole lead. Almost lost the game because of a penalty. Even though there's only 5 penalties. We had the lowest penalties, and yet that was the time the penalties almost cost us the game. Those penalties, man. So I think to beat Kentucky, not have Tennessee, not have costly penalties. I think we need to run the football. I think we need to use the deep ball some more if we see it. I think Milroe needs to run the football if he doesn't have any wide open guys, or he needs to throw it away if he can't run it. And like I said, we got to play a whole 60 minutes of football. We haven't done that yet. I think we play a whole 60 minutes dominant. I think we'll be really dominant. We just haven't seen that yet. My bold prediction is, I don't know, I think Georgia, if Georgia don't play well, they could get beat at the Swamp, okay? Because Tennessee got beat at the Swamp. Florida can be dangerous sometimes. And, Georgia, they haven't looked that good either. They haven't played a whole 60 minutes of football. And they gave up 20 to Vanderbilt. I mean, how do you give up 20 to Vanderbilt?
They were actually they hadn't allowed a touchdown, I think, in 5 seasons to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt struck first, and then I was listening to Kirby Smart, and he said that Brock Bowers has an ankle sprain. and he's going to be fine. But as we know with ankle sprains, because Alabama has had several of those of this season, you're usually out almost like a week. So, and I noticed that I think Florida's either won 2 games in a row or 3 games in a row, and playing at the Swamp could be challenging. So I do like that point right there, Andrew. Wouldn't that be interesting if Georgia is able? I mean, the Swamp is tough. I mean, regardless, like it's like, you know, they're not as quality as a team as Texas A&M, but playing at the Swamp is difficult. So I do like that. So those are definitely good points that you hit on, Andrew, when you you make the call, and I do like your assessment overall. And I just think it was interesting, like looking at the top 10. I figured I put out my top 10, and I had Alabama inside the top 10. I just felt that over North Carolina, those are the teams that kind of came to. And plus, like in college football, you can't lose during the middle part or the later part of the season. You can lose at the beginning and still kind of inch your way up like Bama is doing, but a midseason or late season loss definitely stings you. And, Oregon and Washington, a lot better than I thought there would be. And that's why I was asking people today on my rankings video, like if you throw into a cage 3 teams, North Carolina, Alabama, and Oregon, which team comes out as the survivor? Sign off in the comment box.
Alabama.
Right? Thank you. There's a lot of people that don't.
Alabama.
Yeah. So this is my question for you inside the comment box, everybody. You throw Oregon, you throw North Carolina, and you throw Alabama into a cage. Which team comes out? Sign off in the comment box. Got a $20 spot from Adam. Anything else, Andrew? Why I got you on the line, man?
Yeah, I mean, Arkansas is a really good team. The record don't show it, but they almost beat Ole Miss at Ole Miss. They almost beat LSU at LSU. They lost by a field goal, lost by a touchdown to Ole Miss. And also, this was like the 4th straight road game on the road.
Mm-hmm.
That shouldn't happen on anyone's schedule, going on the road 4 times like that. But it happened, and I think they're a really good team. Not really. They're a good team, but they shouldn't have competed with Alabama. At the end of the day, Alabama had a huge lead, and we just blew it. I guess our guys want some competition, I guess they got bored or something. I don't know. And like Nick Saban said in his interview, he had a message, you guys, but apparently it didn't get through to them. I don't know what happened. It was homecoming, so maybe they were thinking about what they were going to do after the game, Mm-hmm. They went in there up by 20 points. Hey, it's homecoming. Hey, what you doing after the game? Blah, 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 blah. They won't even focus on the game anymore or something. I don't know what the heck happened. But that better not happen again. If we do that against Tennessee or LSU, we're going to lose. Yep. We're going to lose. And another thing, Terrion Arnold, I like him. He's a good guy, good safety. Dude, what were you doing trying to strip the football from a – what is KJ? He's like 6-something, 247.
He's a monster.
Bad idea.
He's like Chris Broswell playing quarterback. That's exactly who he is.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. That guy's a monster.
I mean, that's probably a good comparison. Yeah, he's crazy.
Get him on the ground, dude. I mean, I know he was trying to make a big play. I appreciate it, dude, but get him on the ground. Just sack him, get him on the ground, be done with it. We don't need to strip the football from QB like that. That was not a good idea. I know I touched on the penalties, but dude, we got to clean those penalties. We only have 5, but one of those turned the game around, so that was crazy, man. So we just got to clean up the penalties, put a whole 60 minutes of football together, just not do stupid stuff, not make stupid mental errors like Nick Saban says, just have mental toughness, and I think this team will be good to go. And I think we keep on winning out, we keep on moving up in the rankings, and like I said so many times on the show, I think if we keep winning, play Georgia in the SEC championship, I think we can beat Georgia if we put all these elements together, and I think we'll have a good shot at the playoffs. But so I got for you, Kyle, man. Roll Tide.
All right, Roll Tide to you, man. Thanks for joining us tonight. All right, man. Appreciate it. See you, buddy.
Bye, man.
All right, Andrew from Douglasville with a good call. He's kind of inching his way up to, that kind of first rotation of the starting lineup for callers. He always has a good take. Adam with the super chat and frustration, clearly. First of all, thank you for the super chat. Says Milroe stinks. He looked lost in the second half. The O-line is fat and slow. The running game is inconsistent. We lack intangibles. And I'm tired of hearing players saying they're learning and growing, not our year. I think this is an important point because the frustration level for Alabama fans is at an all-time high. And I get it. So Milroe that second quarter that he had, I mean, it was beautiful, right? Like the bombs that he threw, even because so it was a later part of the first quarter when he hooked up with Kobe Prentice. By the way, it was nice to see Kobe Prentice, outrun those defenders. And he finishes 7 of 10 at halftime for like 215 yards or whatever. And then the second half, it was a completely different game, right? I mean, he was inconsistent. He was 2 of 10. And those are the things that contribute to Alabama not playing 4 quarters of football. And that's very frustrating. I get that. And it continues to be something that a young quarterback is dealing with, and he has to turn around and he has to play 4 quarters of football if Alabama really wants to make a run. I know he does. I know the coaches do. And it's a consistency deal. The running game, it has been consistent to some degree, but there's just not a featured back. And I think it's been interesting to watch that running back room, get onto the field. And I thought Saturday was their best performance collectively, and they're healthy. It's all those guys are running hard. And like I said earlier, I would like to see more of Justice Haynes. I just think it's like there's something special that's going to happen the more opportunities that he's going to get. And again, the frustration with the players, it kind of does sound robotic, right? Like we're not a finished product. We're trying to move forward. It's a long season. This team is trying to get better. They are trying to move forward. So I do get that frustration, because even today when I was, coming up, with some videos today, I could tell that the win felt more like a loss, to be honest. Like people didn't necessarily, there was more frustration after that win, and it shouldn't be like that. I mean, winning is winning, like Coach Saban said, but at the same point, like there's a difference from winning and beating the team. And Arkansas felt that they could have won that game 100%, and they could have. So thank goodness Alabama gets out of there with a W to continue to be undefeated in SEC play. And these next 2 games are going to be ultra challenging. Good thing they're at home at Bryant-Denny. 4 quarters of play will beat Tennessee. 4 quarters of play will beat LSU. Can Alabama do that? That's the biggest question mark going into those games. 100%. We go back to the phone lines, and we got, I believe it's Demetrius calling in. Hey, Demetrius, what's up, man? Thanks for joining the show.
Hey, what's going on, Kyle? Of course, it's me, Demetrius from North Carolina. How y'all doing this evening?
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. North Carolina, by the way, now ranked over Alabama with the undefeated record, beating Miami. Let's just jump right into it, man. You make the call. Is this Alabama team, as of today, a top 10 team in your opinion?
I hate to be Mr. Controversial, but no, they're not a top 10 team. Reason being, they need to be. I think maybe that might be the only thing that could put a fire up on them, because can't nothing else do. Can't nothing else put a fire up on them. I mean, this is like the third year in a row. Other than the SEC championship game, a couple years ago they would beat Georgia. I mean, you see the same back time, same back channel mistakes, undisciplined. But shout out, except this year, shout out to Kevin Steele getting the defense back to the standard that it's supposed to be. I mean, are we completely there yet? No, but we're trending upward. And shout out to them guys on the that's my bright spot. That's my bright spot. Saturday, if it wasn't for the defense, if we had the same defense coordinator from last year, probably would have took a loss. Hey, it is what it is. That's my humble opinion. And I really, and we at the halfway point of the season. We might as well get this is what we got to look forward to. I mean, offense, a left tackle, he just gonna get beat all the rest of the year. I'm sorry. Maybe he can put it together. I doubt it. We getting what we see from Jalen Miro. Can he progress? Yes. Can he regress? Yes. And of course, I'm always stay positive and optimistic, because I've been an Alabama fan since George T. stripped Lamar Thomas in the 1992 championship game. I'm not gonna never doubt him, but hey, what need to be cleaned up? If it ain't cleaned up by now, whether it's an offensive coordinator, primarily on the offensive side of the ball, defense, special teams are doing. They holding their end of the bargain up, and that's. I mean, like I say, 3 years in a row. I honestly can't believe this coming from a Nick Saban team, considering I ain't gonna say I don't call it we spoiled. We just used to seeing a product on the field that's disciplined. You know, whenever our back whenever the team back against the wall, they always perform.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just not getting that production right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
let me ask you. Is it as easy as saying? I guess we're on point number 4 on with Demetrius from North Carolina. Is it safe to say that the keys to beating Tennessee are simply playing a complete 4 quarters of play? I mean, it sounds almost simple to say, but that may be the most the basic concept. I mean, because honestly, if this team plays 4 quarters of play, who's beating them? At least on the regular season schedule. I wouldn't say. I think they take care of business. But, I mean, is there another key to the game that we haven't highlighted besides playing 4 quarters, Demetrius?
I think somebody has to be featured as far as a running back. I mean, this select committee, somebody's going to have to be featured on that offense. And last year, I thought it should have been Jamar Gibbs versus I love Bryce Young. A year prior, before that, he was the Heisman Trophy winner. I believe Jamar Gibbs should have been featured last year. But somebody has to be featured. Like, I'm the go-to guy on here. I'm the Derrick Henry. I'm the Devontae Smith. I'm that man. And I don't know if it's by design they trying, but somebody has to take the reins and let them. I mean, cause Lane Kiffin didn't have no problem giving the ball to Derrick Henry 40 times a game. And I mean, you talking about offensive coordinator. I mean, what that year he just get the ball to Derrick Henry, run off tackle. That's it. I mean, how hard we know you're gonna put 8 men in the box. Just run out, give the ball to Derrick. Somebody's gonna have to take the reins of it. Whether it be Jalen Milroe, whether it be one of the running backs, one of the wide receivers. I would love for the tight ends to get it because the middle of the field is open.
Mm-hmm.
The middle of the field, I mean, and he just not progressed to hitting them middle of the field or them short passes. It is what it is. This is what we're gonna have to deal with. I might start on the left side of my head, scratching the ball spot in there.
Mm-hmm.
But in order for us to beat Tennessee, my humble opinion, you're gonna have to run the ball and play control the clock. Cause Tennessee got a lot better defense. This is the best defense we're gonna probably face this year so far. My humble opinion. They got a pretty good defense. I don't want them to sleep on, but if the offensive line can put a hat on the hat and push and control the line of scrimmage as far as running the ball, we'll beat handily Tennessee. I mean, I'm not worried about defense because this is a different defense coordinator, different defensive backfield.
Yep.
It ain't gonna be no like how it was last year.
God, that was
you
so.
Got a full head of steam.
I think Adam inside the comment box said, "Why don't we have more sets with almost an empty backfield?" And you're like, okay, you look at it, and to be honest, like Alex Golish, the offense that he was running with South Florida, if you split everybody out, I mean, Jalen Milroe back there, just allow him to kind of do whatever. And I also like the pistol setup, right? Because that allows for Jalen Milroe to do a lot of things as well. You see the 49ers do that, and I know they took the L today, but some of those sets would seem to kind of make sense. Okay, last thing, Demetrius, your bold prediction for right now in mid-October. What's your bold prediction? It could be college football related, could be Alabama football related. What you got?
My bold prediction is if Alabama makes it to the SEC championship, it'll be like again when they face Georgia in the SEC championship. They'll play a full 4 quarters. Mm-hmm. That's my bold prediction. That'll let us know the potential that the team does have. Whether they win it all, I don't know, but that'll let cause I don't know if on paper we got the best team, but from what I see, if we can get it all together, we have the best team. Of course I'm gonna be a little biased because I'm an Alabama fan, but if we can get it all together, I can see us beating every team in the country at least by the top teams in the top 4. We can beat them by at least by 2 touchdowns minimum, easily, if we get it all together. So, but
all right, Demetrius. Well, I appreciate it, man. Roll Tide team, man. Please call again next time, and I appreciate you joining in, man.
All right, Roll Tide.
All right, Roll Tide to you. All right, that was Demetrius from North Carolina. We got a 470-832-502 inside the call queue and one call line open. My name is Kyle Henderson of BAMA Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys joining in. Remember, you guys can become a fan funder of this YouTube channel. Here are the different levels, how to become a fan funder. Go to the YouTube homepage and hit the join button. Here are the different levels. Ultimate Fan Funder, level 2, level 1, and the ultimate or the top level is the Champions Club. So really appreciate your guys' support. Remember, this is what I do for a living. I appreciate you guys. Same with Super Chats as well. And you guys just watching the YouTube videos, and appreciate all of you guys being here. Tennessee versus Alabama, October 21st. It's the third weekend in October. Time to go get your cigars. One of my buddies here in Tuscaloosa owns the Cigar Mansion. Tell him Kyle Henderson sent you over. He's got a wide selection of cigars. And Cigar Mansion, pretty cool spot to post up in. Kickoff time is 2:30. TV is CBS. Alabama favored by 8.5. We go back to the phone lines with the 470. Hey, thanks for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
What's up, Kyle? This is Chance from Georgia.
Hey, what's up, Chance? I appreciate you calling in, man. Welcome to the show. Go ahead. Take it away, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, the coaches poll has Bama at 8. I mean, so I know that don't really get you a whole lot, but I mean, the coaches poll has got them at 8. So, I mean, a top 10 team, I don't know. I mean, we can hang our hat on that defense for sure. I mean, there was this man, I don't know why everybody's kind of surprised by this Arkansas game. I mean, for the last 3 years, we are always in a dogfight with Arkansas. Go back and look at them. I mean, even when Bryce put up them crazy stats in 2021-22 season, they were still in it. I remember watching and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe Arkansas is doing this to us. And it's this crazy landscape all the way across college football, man. I don't think there's no for real complete team out there. Not Georgia, I mean, you could say Michigan, but they got a weak ass schedule. I mean, they ain't doing nothing.
100%.
Not really. I mean, everybody's in a dogfight every weekend, it feels like. Everybody. You know what I mean? Like, things are really going to get shooken up in the next 3 weeks. I mean, you know, Louisville destroyed Notre Dame and then turned around and got beat by Pitt. And then Notre Dame beat the brakes off USC. You know, and I mean, it's just a crazy, crazy year, man. Like, nobody's really complete for real.
Yeah, that's why I didn't think I posted a short video. So shorts are a different type of video if you guys are watching out there. I'm going to start adding some more like college football. I just like to talk college football in general. So if you see me start to talk about like Notre Dame or Georgia, whatever, just watch the video. It's just like college football takes. But I honestly wanted to know, why did Notre Dame rush the field last night? Like, what was the significance of beating USC? That was the third, I think, was it the third consecutive time they beat USC? They were at home. They were a favorite to beat USC. I get it, USC was ranked ahead of them, but that was because, just like you said, they just lost to Louisville, who, by the way, lost to Pitt. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, that would be like
Pitt, bro.
That's why I'm saying Pitt had won one game coming into that. That's why I list Notre Dame in that pretender category. Like, they're a pretender. Is it good to have them back in college football? Yeah, it's nice to talk about Notre Dame, but nobody's really taking them serious, to be honest. That's why I'm thinking, like, okay, let me ask you another question. We're on with Chance, and we're going to run through questions 2 through 5, and I'll move to my next caller. But, okay, how about this one? All right, everyone. You throw Florida State, you throw Penn State, and you throw Alabama into a cage. Who's coming out alive? Chance, what you think?
It's Bama.
Right? like
it's Bama, bro.
And there's going to be this wave of Florida State. Let me ask you this, okay? You throw Florida State, you throw Ohio State, and you throw Washington into a cage. Who comes out on top?
I'm going to go Ohio State because they do
Me
have
too.
a pretty good defense right now.
Me too. Plus those
Defense wins games,
those
man.
wide receivers are crazy. Okay. All right. So anyways, now we go thoughts on Jalen Milroe. What's your take?
Dude, I've been a big advocate for him since he came, you know, just because I was always a huge fan of Hurts, just because, you know, I like a dual threat quarterback because that was the things that always used to drive me crazy about Tua, and that's why he always got hurt, because he takes sacks. I mean, but I don't understand why he's not taking off. There was another show, somebody was talking about they think he might be hurt, like he might have pulled a hamstring. Now, I know that, you know, I don't know how true that is, but I just don't understand. Like, he knows his speed. He knows what he can do, and I just do not understand. If Jay Daniels can do it, God, man, I hate that guy. It's just his whole demeanor, his whole stance, everything. But anyways, I just think that, like, that was going into the season, that we could hang our hat on that too. That, you know, like, hey, if a playback's down, Milroe can go and get it, whatever he needs to get. Like, but he just hasn't done it yet, and I just don't understand why. And he seems to always want to make a huge play, and that's fine and all, but man, just drive the ball, just get down the field. You know what I mean? Not every play has got to be a bomb 40 yards down the field. It just feels like that's what he's always trying to get. You know what I mean? Unless he's in a pinch, and, you know, I mean, I don't know. He's just erratic. And I hate it because I really am an advocate for him. I really want him to do good. And my bright spot it was the defense, man. Dallas Turner went in there and shut it down. You know, I mean, it's just like Saban said. I mean, KJ Jefferson's been doing that to us for a couple seasons now, where we get in there and he just slings us off like we ain't nothing. But he's a big dude. He's a big dude, man.
Well, you know what was and I like that bright spot, because Dallas Turner's sack in the fourth quarter, late in the game, that was monumental. Like, if there's any dude that could bring KJ down, it was Dallas Turner. But you're right. Like, KJ Jefferson literally got Terran Arnold and just threw him away, and then made a throw to, like, and you're like, and people are right. And look, and what was interesting is kind of going in this game, you know, people were saying, yeah, Alabama's better than Arkansas by 3 touchdowns or whatever. And I was kind of like thinking, I was like, hey, because I've always talked about maybe 2 things consistently on this show: my respect for Sam Pittman as a coach and the 49ers. Like, those are my 2 kind of like off-topic things, because he's just a really good coach. And I think Saban even said on his coaching show Thursday night, he's like, people are like underrating or undervaluing Arkansas. And the crazy thing is they've lost 5 in a row. They're a good team, right? It's like,
yeah, but nobody has beat on them, though. They've been in a dogfight with everybody. Ole Miss, Texas A&M, LSU. Texas A&M's a little different. LSU, I mean, they've been in a dogfight with everybody. Team. So I mean,
that's
I don't get that either. I got a lot of respect for them.
The other crazy stat that just came to me, what do you guys think about this in the comment box? This is getting off topic just slightly, but I didn't realize that Jimbo Fisher has lost 8 consecutive away games. Like, doesn't that boggle your mind?
Yeah, dude.
What?
Yes, I just watched a video of another guy waiting for you to come on, and he went through the stats too. He's like 0-9 in ranked AP ranked teams, like 0-9.
Oh man,
you know, like he's terrible, man. He's terrible. Yeah. Keys to beating Tennessee. We got to shut their run game down, because they're not the same Tennessee. And I think we do pretty good against the run for the most part. I think we have this season. I mean, I feel like, I mean, I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but I feel like we've been pretty good at shutting the run down. And my bold predictions, I mean, it's going to be shook up all the way through college football, all across the landscape, man. I mean, like I said, it's like there's no complete team out there. And my biggest concern is LSU. I'm just, you know, their offense is on fire, dude. Like, they can just, and I mean, our defense is good. It'll be a battle. It'll be a battle for real. But I think we walk away. I think we beat Tennessee. I think we beat them. I'm not going to put a score up there about a prediction, score prediction, just because I'm just not going to. I'm not going to.
All good, man. Well, I appreciate you calling in, Chance, and always good to rap with you, man. Thanks for calling in for Georgia.
Oh, yeah, for real. Roll Tide, bro.
All right, roll Tide to you, man. All right, Chance out in Georgia. I appreciate it. Adam back with a double dip on the super chat. He says the keys to beating Tennessee are play with a sense of urgency. Absolutely. Score 27-plus points. I agree. 3, win the field position battle and pin UT back to their own territory. Love it. Alabama 27. Tennessee 17. The great thing about Alabama too, and I like that field position game because James Burnham it was good to see him back in the rotation. And again, hats off to Will Reichard, right, who is now the all-time leading scorer in SEC history. That was a monumental feat, and so is Coach Saban winning 200 career games at Bama. But as Adam is saying, that field of position is going to be monumental, and so is the crowd intensity. The crowd has to get into this game again. I mean, we continue to talk about that. They don't look. The fans don't need to learn about cheering. They don't need to do the Texas A&M. Have you guys seen the Texas A&M like before cheer with those guys that come out and that are doing the cheering? It's gone like viral, but I think not in the best way. That's a little too much. Like I was like, what is going on here? Anyways, and okay, the score prediction 27-17. Look, Alabama definitely has to put points to the board. Guys like Will Riker certainly going to come through in a game like this, and Alabama has to, again, no turnovers and play 4 quarters of football. They play 4 quarters of football. They take care of all these teams the rest of their schedule. It's just they haven't done it this year. So, hopefully that starts in the 3rd weekend of October. With that said, we go back to the phone lines. Thanks again for the super chat, Adam. 832. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
It's Mike from Austin, Texas.
What's up, Mike? I appreciate you calling in, man. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. You know, Kyle, I think this Bama team is capable of beating anybody. They could. I think you line them up against Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, Florida, whoever these top teams are. Alabama's capable of beating any of them teams. But on the other hand, the way they play erratically sometimes, they're capable of losing to either LSU or Tennessee. So it's like we all were joking about a couple of days ago. It's like a box of chocolates with this Bama team. You never know what you're going to get. But as far as their skill position players, their linemen, the coaching, our kicking game, absolutely, Alabama can line up and beat anybody. And if they were playing Michigan tomorrow, Alabama would probably be favored. So, but that's and what we're seeing now, as far as Bama being a top 10 team, absolutely they're a top 10 team. I mean, they lost 1 game to Texas, a good team. Bama was winning going into the 4th quarter, and they ended up losing because of an interception, basically. But absolutely, they're a top 10 team. The coaches have it right. The AP poll, basically the media, this is what I've been saying for all year now. There's an anti-Bama bias that the media has against Bama. I guess it's Bama fatigue. They're tired of seeing them. They don't like Nick Saban because the way he treats the media. He talks down to them a lot. So the coaches poll has it right. Number 8, that's fair. Number 11, that's an insult. Bama's better than they're better than number 11, especially being jumped by North Carolina. Mm-hmm. So number 1, yes, absolutely, Bama's a top 10 team, and they're capable of beating anybody. Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, you line them up, Bama's capable of beating them.
All right, let's run through this the rest of this list here. Your thoughts on Jalen Milroe after, well, he's played in 6 games, but through 7 games played for Alabama.
Jalen Milroe is getting better and better. He's trying to become a real quarterback. What I mean by that, a drop back throwing quarterback, not run first quarterback. He's trying to become a real quarterback. And, the question's being asked a couple of times, why is he running more? Why isn't he running? Mm-hmm. what that comes from, in my opinion, is the first things first is do not throw interceptions. That's the first thing first. Interception will lose the game, like the Texas Longhorns game. Do not throw an interception. That's first things first. But by the time he realizes that there's nothing there, nothing's open, and he's not going to throw the ball, but up because he's not going to throw an interception, then it's too late to run it. If he would have tucked it and run it, 3 seconds earlier without checking down like the quarterback does, he can run it. So if it's a quarterback run call play where a quarterback's designed to run the ball, I think he'll do good. But like I say, just Milroe's getting better and better and better, trying to become a real quarterback. And apparently he's got a good deep pass. But he needs to get his mid-level passing better, his 10 to 20 yards. And he makes the clutch throws. Like in this game we've seen Saturday, I think Bama had to get a first down, and Milroe made the throw. But he's capable of running. But like I say, first and foremost, do not throw interceptions. And by the time he realizes that the defensive line's on him, then he's got nowhere to run. But he's getting better and better. That's my thoughts on Milroe. He's got a couple of big games coming up here next 2 or 3 weeks, so we'll see how it plays out. But whether he can take Alabama to the promised land, to the big championship game, that's yet to be seen. But every week he's getting better and better, though.
What was your bright spot for Saturday? And on with Mike from Austin.
Well, just seeing how good Bama can be when they're clicking on all cylinders. I mean, when the running game was clicking like it was, when Milroe was hitting them downfield passes like he was, when the defense was swarming and stopping the opponent like they were, just showing how good Bama can be when they're clicking on all cylinders. That was the bright spot on Saturday. But then again, just like I mentioned, they're capable of beating anybody playing like that. But then again, they're capable of losing to a decent team when they played like they did in the second half, and 1 or 2 little mistakes for some reason. But I think Bama put it to Arkansas pretty good. When you look at, I know the score didn't say that, but when you look at the total yardage, when you look at the plays Bama made, when you look at the overall, the dominating the game, although the score came down close and it came down to the end, I think Bama pretty much did put it to Arkansas, but which they should have. But just showing how good they can be when they're clicking on all cylinders. That's what the bright spot was on Saturday.
What about keys to beating Tennessee? I know this is a completely different matchup this time around. There's no Jalen Hyatt and there's no Alex Golish on the other side, but still Tennessee-Alabama, a rivalry game, and Alabama was beaten by Tennessee and LSU, ironically, the next 2 teams on their schedule. What would you say the key to the game is, probably outside of playing a complete 4 quarters?
I'll say the defense, shutting down their quarterback, Milton, I think his name is, just shutting down Joe Milton, making him one-dimensional, making him run the ball. And if you have to run the ball against Bama and you got no quarterback, you're going to lose. That's the bottom line. So, Tennessee's, the reason I say that, Tennessee's quarterback can be shut down. I don't think LSU's quarterback can be shut down, but Tennessee's a different story. If they shut down Joe Milton, limit him, he's not having a great year anyway, Joe Milton. But if they can make Tennessee one-dimensional, if Tennessee has to run on Alabama, ain't no way Tennessee's going to win that game being a one-dimensional game. So that's how I think Alabama beats Tennessee, just by totally shutting down Joe Milton, I think his name is, Tennessee's quarterback.
What about a bold prediction as we kind of float into the mid part of the month here in October?
Well, Kyle, I'm going to say something that hurts me in my soul, man, and going to hurt a lot of Bama fans, and I'm probably going to take some slack for this, but just like I say that Bama's capable of beating any team, they're capable of losing. And I'm gonna make a prediction, man, and this is gonna break my own heart, that Bama's gonna lose to either Tennessee or LSU, and most likely LSU. And Bama's gonna end up losing to LSU most likely, and not even winning the West, and just not playing up to their potential. I think that's what makes Nick Saban the angriest. But like I say, Bama's capable of beating anybody, but then again, they're capable of losing to a good team. So as much as it hurts me in my soul, man, I say Bama loses to LSU. They lose to LSU, and they end up again losing the West to LSU. That's I hate saying that, man, but I don't know, unless Milroe turns into a superstar coming up, that's probably what's going to happen.
Mike,
but I hope not, man. I sure hope not. I hope Bama wins out. Mike, don't get me wrong. I like to see him.
No, I love the take, Mike, and I like the bold prediction. Who would have thought that Brian Kelly would be one of the most feared coaches to come into the SEC? Because when he first came, and he was kind of, everything that's kind of revolved around Coach Kelly. One of the things that I think about was I saw him like rotating on that like photo thing with one of the recruits, and it just kind of like was kind of creepy for me. But look, I mean, Jaden Daniels, he's been a great quarterback, and I honestly think that they have an elite wide receiving unit. So good thing that game is in Bryant-Denny Stadium. I mean, the next two games. And the good thing is Alabama will have 2 weeks to prepare for them, heal up any injuries before they take on the talented Tigers, because they did look good and imposing against Auburn. So I appreciate the call in, Mike. Call in anytime and appreciate the support.
All right. Thank you, Kyle. Take care.
All right. Take it easy, buddy. All right. That was our buddy Mike out in Austin. Kyle Henderson of BAMA Football on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. On Monday, we will have Coach Saban's press conference at 12 p.m. Along with player interviews, which we will get up right here on our YouTube channel. Thank you very much for the continued support this football season. Hope that we've showed consistency with our video distribution, and appreciate you guys helping us get to closer to 100,000 subscribers, which would be an amazing accomplishment by December. It's going to take a lot to get there, but with your help, we can. So just hit the subscribe button to be notified anytime that we drop a video, and we appreciate your continued support. With that, we go right back to the phones. Hey, good evening. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Thank you very much for being patient. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, this is Mike from Kentucky. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, Mike? I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for joining us this evening, man. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, good to be here. That Arkansas game, I was expecting a close game. Mm-hmm. Arkansas is a damn good football team with really bad luck. And their quarterback, dude, he's going to get took this year in the draft. He'll go 5th, 6th round somewhere. Some team will pick him up, and he'll be a third stringer, and he'll make good money and have a great life sitting on the pine, not having to get slammed by 360 pounders all day. That kid's been around, man. He's a veteran. Mm-hmm. He's 6'4", 247 pounds. That's why he's flicked Terry and Arnold off like a flea, like a dog scratching a flea off his neck. That dude ain't no joke, man. And if you give him enough chances, I mean, he's going to make it a game. Mm-hmm. That didn't really surprise me at all, bro. Mm-hmm. That kid's a baller. He had a shootout with Bryce Young about like 2-3 years ago, wasn't it? Like 35-42 or something.
Yeah, I think Bryce almost had to throw for 600 yards to beat him.
Yeah, that dude's a baller, man. And, that's Arkansas is a hard-nosed bunch of kids, man. Mm-hmm. Their coach, man, believes in toughness. He's kind of an old-school throwback coach, man. Them guys are battle-tested. It's just going to come down to wait and see. As long as we keep winning, that's the priority. We got to win. And if it's ugly, I'll take an ugly win. I don't care. As long as we keep winning, and these other conferences will start to cannibalize each other. Texas and Oklahoma are going to probably play again. Washington and Oregon's going to probably play again. Louisville dropped out. There's one domino that fell. And USC, a few dominoes here and there are starting to fall. I'm not going to lose hope. I'd like to see a little more consistency at the quarterback play and the offensive line play. Defense is pretty good. We had a little third quarter lapse. We had a couple 3-and-outs, and I think the defense wasn't really ready to deal with that. Mm-hmm. Arkansas climbed back in it.
Mike, what is
You
your
know, but as far as,
what is your take on Jalen Milroe?
I mean, he had an off day. You know, he ain't a polished fitness product yet. You know, I tell you what though, he brings his long ball every game. You know, and that's been a saving grace for him. You know, he's still a work in progress. He's only a sophomore. We can't forget he's only a sophomore. You know, I mean, he's got the intangibles. He's going to be all right. I think he'll have a good day against Tennessee. I think the key to beating Tennessee is, man, we have got to win the battle of first downs. I mean, that little running back they got, Small, he's a pesky dude, man, and he'll get 6-7 yards on you on first down all day. It's going to be a club. That'd be another nail biter. You know, we got to keep Tennessee behind the sticks, and I think our defense will win the day for us.
I just saw Adam posted inside the comment box, R.I.P. Suzanne Summers. Is that true? We got a confirmation on that? That's too bad. Everybody remembers she was like an icon in the 80s and the 90s in terms of the sitcom. That's too bad. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. Mike, the bright spot of Saturday, I said earlier on my show that it was the running backs, and I like the way that the running backs were able to be distributed. I get it. There's no featured running back on this team, but did you get a sense that those guys did you get a sense that those guys were running hard? Like Roydale Williams ran hard. Jan Miller, man, he had a great run. And, Justice Sands was a shoestring away from just kind of going, from getting going. So what was your take on kind of the bright spot from Saturday and your take on the running backs?
Well, I don't know. These running backs, to me, they don't run after contact like Eddie Lacy and guys like Trent Richardson. And those guys that was bully ball backs. I don't think we have a true bully ball back in the stable this year, to tell you the truth. I mean, if they get in the second level, you know, they look pretty good. But man, I don't know. I'm not really enthusiastic about the running game. Maybe this freshman kid out of Georgia, you know, maybe he'll turn into something next year. I think we need to throw the ball, keep throwing, keep polishing Miller on the throwing game. I think that's our best chance to win, and that'll open up the run game. The other line's just not performing good enough. I mean, they're trying. To tell you the truth, I'd rather throw the ball in the first half if we can, keep the linebackers playing fair, you know, because if they just stack the box, man, it just stifles our run game. They crowd the box. They put eight, 9 guys in the box. We're getting 2.5 yards of carry, and you ain't going to win no national championship doing that. I mean, in the second half, you know, just start pounding on them a little bit, like the A&M game.
What are your keys to beating Tennessee for Alabama? Besides, like, 4 quarters of play. Yeah, because I already said 4 quarters of play, and it seems kind of too easy. But what do you think?
We got to win the battle of down and distance, man. They've got a good little running back. That kid, Small, I mean, if I had to guess, I'd say he's leading the league. I'd say he's leading the conference in rushing. That kid is good. I mean, if he pops off for 7-8 yards on first down all day, like he did the other day against A&M, dude, he's a good runner. If we can keep Tennessee behind the sticks, we're not going to have no problem with them. But it's going to be hard to get off the field if it's 2nd and 3 or 3rd and 2. You know, we've got to keep them behind the sticks, man. That's the way Bama's always done it. Get in 3rd and long and then pin your ears and come after that quarterback. And we've got plenty of horses to do that defensively. Our pass rush is pretty darn good when we can use it.
My last question for you, Mike, and we're on with Mike from Kentucky. Your bowl prediction as of October 15th, what is it?
Oh man, that's anybody's guess. I say it's the you know, if the dominoes fall the way I'm hoping, you know, I mean we backed into a couple BCS championships one year. Kansas State lost on the last week of the season, and I had totally given up. You know, I mean, if the dominoes fall right, we might make the playoffs. But I sure as hell don't want to see Georgia lose no game to Florida. we got to beat Georgia as the #1 team in the
100%,
country, or we
100%.
ain't getting in.
100%.
I mean, if Florida, if Georgia fools around, loses, and drops the game, we are done. We went out and beat them anyway, and still not get in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have got to beat an undefeated Georgia. Then we might. I mean, they're trying to cancel us pretty good. You know, I agree with some of the other callers, Mike from Texas. You know, I mean, it just seems like the media is trying to cancel us this year. You know, maybe for whatever reason, who knows?
Mike,
But beat an undefeated Georgia team, we might just get in, and you know, maybe just keep winning.
yeah, I kind of agree with. I mean, if you're right, like as much as I would like to, I guess, see Georgia, I don't really care. It's better to have Alabama play an undefeated Georgia team, but I could say, like from Andrew earlier was saying that, you know, I mean, it is plausible that Georgia does lose to Florida. I mean, the way that kind of things are going,
possible, but I sure don't want to see it.
Yeah, exactly, because I think you're right. Like they would use that blemish. They'd be like, oh, well, Georgia wasn't undefeated, and even though Alabama was to be able to beat them, like Alabama's, you know, half of the season they weren't a complete team, and Georgia proved that they weren't what they were, and blah blah blah. So, you know, Alabama's out. I could totally see something like that happening, coming down to style points. So you want to beat Georgia being undefeated, which would give Alabama the best shot, being for Alabama's scenario. Mike, I always appreciate.
We're not getting in if we don't beat an undefeated Georgia.
100% agree. I appreciate you calling in, Mike, and please call again next time. And thank you very much for the support.
All right, man. Roll dead and I'm tired, y'all.
Roll Tide, buddy. All right. We got a 334, a 334, and an 850 inside the call queue coming up next right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. I appreciate you guys. And I 100% agree with Mike. Like, Georgia wins out. That is the best case scenario for Alabama to the SEC championship game. I know a lot of people would talk, be excited to see Georgia kind of fall, and that would, you know, garner tons of headlines in the world of college football. But for Alabama's specific scenario, you got to have them be able to beat an undefeated Georgia, and really that would give Alabama back the respect that Alabama is accustomed to. I mean, beating Tennessee, they're supposed to do that. Beating LSU, they're supposed to do that. Beating Auburn, they're supposed to do that. Right now, Georgia's the king of the jungle, 100%. And if you want to be the man, you got to beat the man, right? And Georgia's at the top of the list. So beating an undefeated team, and if Alabama was to be able to finish out the regular season with just one loss and then win the SEC, I think Alabama, that's their ticket to the playoffs. It's going to be weird next season, right? What is it, 12 teams? Is it 12 teams that are making the playoffs, or 8? I think it's 12. That's going to be really strange. Kind of with all the teams making it, right? You're going to have some weird matchups, like Texas Tech is like going to come to Tuscaloosa, and hopefully, you know, we're not going to Lubbock. Can you imagine that? Alabama's on the road to play at Lubbock. It's going to be pretty wild to see how those teams get in. All right, let's keep the phone lines going. We go back to a 334 and we start right now. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
This is Malcolm calling in for Opelika.
Hey, what's up? Do you say Malcolm?
Yes.
All right, Malcolm. What's up, man? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you being here, man.
All right, cool. I think my two problems are, you know, the left tackle spot. I mean, people keep saying Proctor is young. I think that's it. I think that's the best he's going to be. Because what are we, like 5 games in, 6 games in, and he's still letting people drive by him?
You know what's crazy? Malcolm, we're 7 games in.
Right. That I mean, at what point is he going to be like, all right, let me get, you know what I'm saying? Like, this might be who he is. And this is what happened with Jalen Hurts. You know, when his freshman year, everybody's like, he's just young. And I'm like, man, I don't know. Mm-hmm. You know, and then his sophomore year came, and he was the same, probably got worse. You know, it just, people like with Jalen Miro, everybody keeps saying he got a good deep ball. Yeah, when the wide receiver wide open, who couldn't have one? You know, every time he throws a deep ball, the wide receiver is wide open. And you know, and my thing is that's not always gonna be there. You know, and with him, like when it comes to the crossing routes, like Prentice and Bond, they reaching to the sky to catch the ball. And they wide open. Like, just dump it off to them. You know? And you know, and that one just gets under my skin with Jalen Miro. Like, and he's like he has no awareness. Like, when he take a sack, it's like, yo, you didn't feel that? How did you not feel that pocket collide? You know what I'm saying? Like, he don't have that Bryce Young thing to him, like, can make somebody miss and all that, you know. But, you know, people killing me with, oh, he can throw a bomb. Yeah, like I say, every time he throws it downfield, the wide receiver is wide open. I mean, wide open. Kobe Prentice was wide open. Jermaine Burton wide open. Everybody's just open, and that's a good thing. But sometimes, like, when you play a team that's gonna play at their 100%, that's not always gonna be there. You got to throw somebody open. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, those are my two things. Like the left tackle spot. Like, I don't know. It's like that could be the downfall. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can tell that Jalen Miro is trying his best to process things. But that left tackle will not give him enough time, you know, and that's where Jalen Miro awareness has to be top notch. It has to be, and that's what frustrates me with him. I'm like you got to make that pass, or we're going to come across a defense where when you're looking for something, it's not wide open. You hesitate. Like, you got to still make that pass. You know, you got to trust your wide receivers to go out there and make a play. You know, and I'm scared of LSU, man. I'm very scared of LSU because I feel like they got the men up front to push us around, and I feel like people realizing that Proctor is a weakness. You know, he's a weakness. That's what Arkansas. What was the guy that just kept sacking Miro? I don't forgot his name, but he was just killing Proctor every time. Every time. And I don't know, and I know we ain't got that much depth right there, but we got to figure something out. But I think he's better at guard. I mean, moving me in the guard because he's just too slow. You know?
I've been asking.
What do you think about that?
I've been asking fans to some 5 questions. Well, my assessment is this. I was watching. There's a show on ESPN on SEC. It's called like I don't even know what it's called. Like, to be honest, I don't watch many college football shows. I just don't want to get like other people's ideas in my mind. So I don't read other articles. Right. I don't watch other shows just because like I'm a content creator myself. So I want to make sure like what I'm saying is authentic. But this morning I did watch. It was a SEC show where they broke down Alabama and Kentucky. And one of the guys brought up a good point, and this was on the Kobe Prentice touchdown. And he said that Kentucky, that Arkansas on that particular play was in cover 2, and the safety came in and took away the center of the field. And what that allowed was Kobe Prentice, who was at the slot position, was able to get downfield, and he was wide open. So it was what he was saying was it was a good read from Milroe, but a really good play on Tommy Rees to be able to beat that. So it was kind of like Tommy and Jalen were working together to establish that connection to Kobe Prentice. It was an interesting take to see it from their perspective. I think that, teams are going to continue to challenge Jalen Milroe to beat them, whether it's intermediate passes or whether it's deep ball, because they still don't believe that Jalen can beat them through an entire game. And I feel that teams are going to, they're not going to respect Jalen Milroe until he can display, against a good defense that he can be consistent. And then at the same token to what you said, I don't think Alabama has the offensive line to necessarily help foster that continued growth that he needs. So it's tough because he is trying and he's not forcing balls that he has to into defenders' arms. And he is taking some sacks, which he does need to get the ball out of. And just this offensive line isn't what we're accustomed to. But I think, he is getting better. And that's tough to say after he went 7 for 10 in the first half and 2 of 10 in the second half, right? You're just like, it's the inconsistency of a young quarterback. And that's what's, you think about even next year. And you're like, okay, well, is Jalen Milroe going to be the guy next year? Because I think a lot of people were like, well, you have Julian Sain coming in and he's automatically going to be the guy. That hasn't always been the case here at Alabama. Remember when no one wanted Mac Jones to start and they wanted Bryce Young? And Nick Saban sat Bryce Young. He barely even played that year. He threw like 8 times or something like that. So, look, I mean, it's going to take a while. Probably a lot longer than we want for this to come together, or it might not at all, and they might just keep winning. That's why we've been also saying too is like this season is about survive and advance. There's no like all the rat poison that we're starting to talk about, like playoffs and stuff. It's like, who cares, man? Just beat Tennessee however you can. Period. Like, just beat them. And that's not what fans are accustomed to.
Right, but I just feel like we're cracking. Like, I just feel like one day, you know, like Texas A&M, they were moving the ball on us, man. And like another thing, like we got to stay on that field as an offense. We cannot just go down there one drive and that's it. We have to stay on the field. And I just feel like it's like a burning building. We standing, but somewhere we gonna fall, and I hate to say that because so we haven't played a perfect game yet, and I don't know when that game gonna come, but we don't have the time. You know, if we want to get in the playoffs, we don't have the time. We have to get it together now. You know.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. I mean we're 7 games, and this is kind of just what it is. So. We'll continue to see if you know, maybe, I don't know, you know, I mean, they're winning. They've won 5 in a row. That's the good news. But that win against Arkansas didn't taste good at all. Like, I was like, oh man, like I just can only imagine how the fans are feeling in the callers, because there's like everyone left that game pissed off. You're like, you won, and everyone's like mad.
Right.
But you know, you won, but you didn't beat Arkansas. It's like you just won the game. Okay, let's run through these 5 questions real quick. I've been asking everybody tonight.
Cool,
so and let's keep them nice and tight. Okay, so is Bama a top 10 team as of today?
Yes.
Okay, and give me a short take why. I mean, because a lot of people, the AP poll had North Carolina above Alabama today, which kept Alabama at the 11th spot, and Oregon was also ranked over Alabama, even though they just lost to Washington. So go ahead.
I think it's like you said earlier. You put all 3 of them in a cage, Alabama gonna come out on top. You know, Oregon, Washington, and North Carolina. I think Alabama is better than those teams, and I just, like you said, I just think that.
Yeah, I mean, in a cage match, I mean, you put, I don't know, North Carolina, Florida State, and Alabama literally into a cage. Who comes out? I would say Alabama, right? Like, you imagine Alabama going to North Carolina or North Carolina coming here? Like, there would really be no difference than, like, Tennessee coming over here or, you know, Ole Miss. Like, Alabama would take care of North Carolina. I get a lot of people are like, well, it's fancy. Not necessarily. Like, you got Coach Saban here. You got this defense, which, you know, you're going to have to really come with it to beat this defense like Texas did. And I don't know. I mean, this team isn't complete. They're inconsistent, but they still beat, in my opinion, Florida State and North Carolina 100%. Okay, we talked about thoughts on Milroe, so that we'll jump to number 3. Was there a bright spot, in your opinion, this Saturday against Arkansas?
The defense doing very well. I love the defense. Now I'm gonna tell you about Arnold. You cannot be 180 pounds and go up top to a 6'5", 240-some pound man. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. No, I wasn't surprised that boy slung him off. Like, he ain't nothing but 180 pounds. But what was he thinking going up top like that? You know, hit him down low, wrap them legs up, bring them to the ground. But up top, that's a lost battle for anybody. That's a big boy.
And Coach Saban said, and Coach Saban said, he's like, listen, we talked about it before. Like, when you get him, everybody come and like get him, because this dude isn't going down. He's built on pillars, man. That's a grown man and some. That's 3 men. That's 3 grown men in one.
Yeah.
All right. So what is the key to beating Tennessee besides playing 4 quarters of play? What else you got besides that point?
Man, Jalen Milroe, you know, he did great against Texas A&M. Like when they said beat me with your arm, he did it. He needs to be more consistent. No, hit them passes, man. Get them passes off. You know, and because I believe the running game gonna be there. But if we can just protect the man, let the man read through a progression. Let's protect the man. You know what I'm saying? And I think if he can complete the passes, that's the key to it. We got the pass, man. That's just the key to it.
Okay, and last thing, what is your mid-October bold prediction?
I don't know. What you mean by that? What you
kind of just like it could be something in college football. It could be something about this team. You know, maybe you feel that it's you know, not like Michigan is upset by Penn State or, you know, something along those parameters.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, I think Washington might lose this week coming up. So that I'm thinking that one. And that they you know, that quarterback, he's a good quarterback too, man. I watched that Oregon game with him.
Yeah,
that
is.
Was a good game. But yeah, man. Yes, he is. Yes, he's
100%. He
I got a question for you.
Go ahead. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I got a question for you. Who do you think gonna get that Heisman? Because Caleb Williams kind of lost it.
Man,
you know.
Yeah, he did lose it. I mean, look, Notre Dame played a great game. That was that Notre Dame team. I like them, but I mean, what happened to them the week before, right? Like that was a good Notre Dame team. They were doing they were doing a lot of things, especially on defense. They were running the ball well, like that quarterback. I mean, that was a good team, but I mean, they lost to Louisville, and then Louisville lose to Pitt. So I mean, I knew that would eventually happen. Yeah. I don't know. I guess maybe that quarterback. I mean, if Washington, which I don't know if it'll happen, that their quarterback is really, really good. How about the kid from Oklahoma? I mean, they seem to turn out, you know, Heisman Trophy winners. Dylan Gabriel. I mean, he's been pretty good. Yeah. I don't think it'll be McCarthy from Michigan. I don't think it'll be the guy from Florida State. How about this one? I mean, depending on how things shake out for him, I mean, if LSU gets hot and they're able to beat Bama, I mean, maybe that quarterback, Jayden Daniels, just based off kind of the merits that he has. And who cares if he wins the Heisman Trophy? I mean, that guy has a long, you know, upcoming future because he's a very solid quarterback. I mean, so you got some really good quarterbacks in this class. And but I don't know. I mean, that Caleb Williams probably out. That was a tough performance. I mean, it was like turnover after turnover after turnover. Yeah, that just wasn't their night. Yeah. So, anyways, I appreciate you calling in. Please call again next time, and I'll catch up with you next show.
All right, cool.
All right, take it easy, Malcolm. All right. We got a 334-850 and a 337 in the call queue. Kyle Henderson of BAMA Football on YouTube. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Here's a look at our fan funders. You can become a fan funder of this YouTube channel by basically hitting the join button and checking out any of those options. We really appreciate you guys supporting this YouTube channel. This is what I do for a full-time basis, and I really appreciate all the support. The call-in line, you know, the travel, everything that goes with, you know, running a business. I mean, that's how things operate. So I appreciate you guys supporting us right here on Bama Football on YouTube. With that, we go back to the phone lines at 334, and we take it right now. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Just Coach from Calera.
Hey, what's up, Coach Daniel? I appreciate you calling in, man. You know, I was waiting for you to call in so we could break it all down, man. So with that said, welcome to the show.
Oh, yeah, man. I always tell somebody else. Like I said, I heard somebody use my analogy about the box of chocolate. I told you last week, you never know what team you're going to get. You do not know. Yeah. And this Alabama team is exactly what I said they are. And you said people's calling them weird skulls, how that's going to be Arkansas. I said, no, Arkansas is not a bad team. And it's got a bad record. And any given Saturday, like any given Sunday,
that team can put it together and give you fits. And people are like, our team played bad in the second half. No, Arkansas had something to do with them playing bad. Arkansas always play people close in the second half. They struggle at the beginning of the game. But once Dan Enos figure out what you're trying to do, he can find a scheme against you. Then again, Bama made some plays. But again, Arkansas got good football players too. People keep forgetting that.
Coach, I've been asking people 5 questions. Is Bama a top 10 team as of today, yes or no?
Absolutely not. I say no. They don't play a full game. Them teams in front of them, if they don't play 4 quarters, at least play 3 quarters. I haven't seen not one game this year Bama play at least 3 quarters a game. Yeah. They'll play 1 quarter here, then skip 2 quarters, and make them play the 4th quarter. Until they can learn how to be more consistent, Bama's like a top 20 team right now to me.
And that's the crazy thing is because they only needed 1 quarter to beat Arkansas. To be honest, that was the 2nd quarter.
That's it.
They only played one. They only played 1 quarter because the first quarter you were just like they were. By the way, that kicker from Arkansas is a baller. I wish the 49ers had him. He was money. Their special teams was really good.
Money.
They had an amazing punter
once they
too.
Get like 50-yard line,
that dude was money. Yeah. And then
money.
And then Alabama takes the lead, so you're kind of feeling good. And in the second quarter, you're like, oh, Bama's gonna just roll. And then the third and the fourth quarter, they got outscored 15-3.
Yep.
So
and I was worried in the 4th quarter. When the 4th quarter came, when Arkansas forced Alabama 3 and out, when the score was 24-21, I was like, please do not let them boys get to the 50-yard line. This will be a tie game. It's going to get real uncomfortable in this stadium. And again, there's not no fault of Alabama. Everybody, they played bad. No, they did not play bad. Arkansas caught 5. Like Alabama caught 5 in the second quarter. Arkansas caught 5 in the third and in the 4th quarter. They caught 5. And Miro, he didn't complete passes, but people still got to talk about it. I was taught as a coach, the ball touch your hands, you got to catch it. The ball, some of the passes was kind of high, but you're a receiver. You are taught to catch high balls. Okay, practice do drills like that. Where they put the ball in high places, you got to go there and get the football. That's called a lack of concentration. So before people start saying Miro with 1 for 7 in the second half, 4 of them was drops. But that was kind of high, but they still were drops. So you got to put blame on them guys as well. It's like everybody always put the blame on the O-line and put the blame on Miro. You can't put blame just on those two groups. It's a whole process. Like they said, it's a process. The right play call got to be called. Like, what is an easy play for Alabama? And I don't see an easy play where you automatically, it's a play you know you're going to get 5 yards or 10 yards on. Everything for Alabama is like Nick Saban got to coach every single yard. As a football coach, that's very hard where you got to coach every single yard.
No, I got it. Byron asked a question. If we lose to Tennessee and LSU, what's the best bowl scenario we could play in? We're on with Coach Daniel. I think the way that the bowls would work out, I mean, it's hard to say. These are the bowl tie-ins. If you go to a good place to find this, if you go to SEC Sports, you can see the bowl tie-ins. This year, the semifinals are the Fiesta Bowl and the Peach Bowl. Those are their playoff games. Then you would have, maybe the Orange Bowl, or you go the Texas Bowl. That's in Houston versus the Big 12. So that could be interesting. You could theoretically have Alabama and Texas playing again. That would be wild. If Texas isn't able to win, the Big 12 and beat Oklahoma, right? That would be interesting. So that's kind of where to find it. Coach, your thoughts on Jalen Milroe?
A good football player, a good quarterback. I feel like people looking at Alabama of what they're going to be next year. This is Milroe's first year. This team is they stay young across the board. For what we fuss about and complain about this year, Bama going to be better next year. People, they never seen Bama have a down year or a year they were building. This is a rebuilding year for them. Last year was the year they supposed to make a playoff run, championship run. This year's a rebuilding year. And I feel like Milroe has played good to me. He playing good enough for the cards he's dealt. If you don't play spade before, you can't complain because you don't get no trumps. You just got to play the cards you're dealing. And when like I said, it's no easy play for Miro. Everything for him is drop back pass, no rollouts, no stretch plays, no. It's like everything is drop back. You got a guy, you got a Ferrari, and you scared to use it. I ain't never seen it before. You ain't gonna take it to the track, man. It's like it's no. I seen one read option play with him. There's one. Yeah, he got like 5 yards. They stopped running it. It's like Reese got too many toys to play with, and he don't know how to work with them. He really don't. So for me, Miro has been a good quarterback for Alabama. The best that they got. Now he's not the guy, Penix Jr. or Jalen Daniels. But for what Alabama trying to do, Miro's the guy.
And I asked that because when you rewind to the SEC media team, there was only one player. This is the first year I ever seen this. There was only one player to make the first team All SEC on Alabama's offense, which was J.C. Latham. And everybody else was filled from the other teams. And then on defense, it was only Dallas Turner and Kool-Aid. And then on the special teams, it was Will Reichard and Kool-Aid. But other than that, I mean, that's pretty slim pickings for a usually loaded Alabama team. Remember a couple years ago, like 2020, 2019, 2020, it was almost like exhausting because you're like, oh my goodness. Like, it'd be like 8 on each side. So it kind of does show you a little bit that this team was going to be young coming in. With that said, I mean, the team has played 7 games, and they have, the entire month of August. I just kind of feel that, like you said, I mean, it is a young team, but at some point it's just like those are kind of excuses. And now it's like, the cake is baked, like Coach Saban said. What was the bright spot on Saturday?
Bright spot to me was they finished the game. Miro made a good play on 3rd and 10, and they complete the pass, got the first down. And people understand there was like a huge play in that game.
Hell yeah.
Like, you go back to what you were saying again. This BAMA team is what you think they are, what they are. Ain't no sense being young no more. The little tiger not blocking. He is who he is. He's not going to block them out this year. You got to deal with it. If the coaches felt that they can move JC to the left side, they would have did it. JC must be sorry over there. That's why they ain't moved him yet. Because these coaches made millions of dollars. They know how to make these plans. Maybe at practice, Proctor never get beat at practice. Maybe Dallas Turner don't challenge him. So he get in the game, he get beat. It's like you only coach your team according to what you see at practice. And I feel like, to me, this Alabama team is who they are. They gonna be. They can either beat LSU, they can either beat Tennessee, but they easily can lose those games. But I can tell you right now, they will not be no blowout game. It's gonna be a game where they tooth and nail and scratch and fight and claw.
100%.
Then watch this team next year. This same team you see next year, you ain't gonna have all these excuses about them why, because they're gonna be older. Miro gonna be more comfortable. Miro got more comfortable Saturday. He looked good throwing the ball. Yes, some of his balls he threw, he threw a little high on them passes, but he in the weight room too much. Like I said, he got to get out that weight room. You're a quarterback now. You're not a running back. And again, receivers got to make it easy. Today I catch some of them passes, man. I saw a lot of drop passes in that game. And they dropped it.
Donna, I appreciate
my score prediction.
Hold on, Coach. We got a super chat that just rolled through. Donna's asking about Jalen Milroe because there is I guess a rumor going around, or people are asking if there is some sort of injury with Jalen Milroe, that he has a minor leg injury, and I would assume that would be something with his hamstring. Look, I think we've all kind of heard that. But I'll tell you what, there was a play in the first quarter against Arkansas where if somebody didn't tackle Jalen Milroe by his leg, by his foot, Jalen Milroe probably would have had a 90-yard touchdown. Do you guys remember that? Like they barely got him, and we were about to find out if he was going to pull up for a hammy or if he was going to run for a 90-yard touchdown. So the thing about Jalen Milroe is he's different in the sense that his best attribute is north and south as a runner. It's not so much side to side. Now, Bryce Young wasn't necessarily fast north and south at all by any stretch. Now, he could get out and he could pick up first down.
Quick.
But side to side, that guy was like a ninja. He was quick. He was super quick. So they have different, they have different attributes in that sense. So sometimes you're like, why doesn't Milroe, avoid those sacks? That's not really part of his game plan. Like his is like, if it's open across the middle, he's gone and you'll never catch him. But like side to side, that's just not his style. All right, Coach, let's see. What's your bold prediction? It's October 15th, the World of College Football, Alabama. Give us a bold prediction.
They're gonna go out there and beat Tennessee Saturday. They're gonna beat them 26-13. The game, everybody talking about LSU this game they probably gonna lose. They're gonna go out there and him and Daniel's gonna battle left and right. Bama gonna come out that game. They're gonna beat LSU 34-27. Then they're gonna beat Auburn, their little cupcake team. They're gonna play Georgia in the SEC championship game. That's how it's gonna happen.
Coach, I appreciate you calling
and neither
in.
one of them gonna make it. Yep.
No, finish out, Coach.
But I don't think neither. Georgia come in that game with a loss. If Bama goes to beat them in the SEC championship game, they still might make the playoffs. Because depending on how the rest of the stuff go around in the country. Because if Oklahoma lose, Oklahoma beat Texas again, Oklahoma gonna be in. Florida State win out, they gonna be in. Then you got Washington win out, they gonna be in. Then the win between Michigan and Ohio State gonna be in. So it's gonna be a good team. They're gonna be left out the playoffs this year. And for me, if Alabama even get considered going to the SEC championship game, considered for a playoff spot, that's a win for them this year. Like I said, next year's gonna be Bama team.
Coach,
mark my word, this Saturday it's gonna be a close football game.
Coach, do you think if Alabama wins the SEC championship, fans will storm the field?
Oh no, not. No, we too pretty for that. We expect to win. So even though we are struggling this year, we still expect to win. It's Alabama. We not like South Carolina or Tennessee or somebody. We expect to win no matter what.
All right, Coach. I'll talk
it's good talking to you, man.
All right, man. See you, Coach. I was serious. Like, I've been asking, when's the last time, and someone said like the 50s that Alabama rushed the field or something like that. It's like, when did they rush the field? I don't know. I just can't see Alabama beating Tennessee or LSU and like storming the field. I don't know. That doesn't seem like it would ever happen. Okay, we got an 850, which we'll move to next. Hey, thank you very much for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Yeah, my name is Ralph. I'm from Pensacola, Florida, but I'm calling from Denver.
Okay. I appreciate you calling in, man. Welcome to the show. Take it away.
Okay, yeah. So did we want to go ahead and get into the top 5 questions, or did you just want my opinion on how we're playing right
if
now?
you have like an opening monologue, that's cool with me. But if you want to jump into the 5 questions, it's really like what I found out is like the show flows well with the 5 questions. So it doesn't matter. Like if you want to hit on something before we dive into it, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
Yeah. So I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on this team. I feel like the best thing that could have happened to us early on was losing to Texas, because now we have a point to prove, right? So even looking at the Arkansas game, JT, what is his name? KJ
Jefferson.
KJ Jefferson. This guy is dominant. You know, we've always had. I think we had problems with him the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
He can move really good. He's mobile, and he's a very accurate quarterback. I agree with a lot of the previous callers. Arkansas is a great team, but they just don't close. You understand? So I honestly think a team like Arkansas can take down Georgia. Georgia can be taken down if you lock up McConkey and Brock Bowers. I really don't feel like they have as many weapons as they had last year. And I would easily say, yeah, we're a top 10 team compared to what I'm seeing, you know, with, you know, like teams like Florida State, teams like, you know, Georgia, teams like Washington. Like, I still, in my opinion, the SEC is still strong. They're not as strong as we were in the, you know, the last 2 years. But in my humble opinion, we're definitely top 10.
What have been your thoughts on Jalen Milroe through 6 games of played? Alabama's played 7 games, but he's played in 6.
I feel like he's not playing up to his potential. When the pocket is closing, you got to learn how to step up. and that's his biggest problem.
Mm-hmm.
The sacks.
Mm-hmm.
And when he gets sacked, we're talking about, with 3rd and 15, you know what I mean? We're losing like 7+ yards on a sack.
Mm-hmm.
The quarterback coach needs to coach him up with that. I feel like our line is holding him long enough, but he is sitting in a pocket excessively too long.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't find a target, you need to run.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Mm-hmm. What was the bright spot of Saturday against Arkansas?
The bright spot was the first half.
Yeah.
We played phenomenal. What we have a problem with playing. So I would say if we come close to losing, it's always the third quarter that is, hunting us. We like to, for some reason this year, we like to come from behind.
Mm-hmm.
And win that way. I don't know what our exception with that is, but we're liking to come from behind on our victories.
but the thing is that we've talked about is and we hope it doesn't get to this point, but if this team was to get down, but I don't know, 13, do they have enough in the tank to come back and take the reins of the game, down 6 or down a touchdown or whatever? But I don't know, we just don't know. And you're right. This team does kind of when they are behind to kind of get forward. I mean, now that you think about it, they were down against Texas, came back, retook the lead.
Yep.
We're down. We're tied with South Florida. We're trailing Ole Miss, right? Was trailing Arkansas. Think of it. Those are all facts, right? We didn't make that up. Those are facts. Okay, so what about keys to beating Tennessee? Not just playing 4 complete quarters, but what do you think about beating Tennessee in terms of the keys of the game?
I feel like our keys are gonna stop the run. We gotta stop the run, and I don't like how Arnold and Moore has been playing as far as the last game. I don't feel like they were physical enough, and we got to stop making stupid mistakes. We had this game in a bag. We totally, I'm speaking in retrospect, the Arkansas game, we had it in a bag. Jalen Key, which he's always doing something stupid. I feel like we got complacent, and he just, why did you face mask the guy? Why? You know what I mean? I feel like if we can get ahead and we play physical all 4 quarters, it's not a team that can beat us, and that is including UT. We get if our defense plays like they've been playing, I think we beat UT easy. We fly by them. If people make stupid mistakes, pass interference, calls repetitive, which is pretty much. We're not getting flagged a whole lot like we used to. We're coming down from the flags. We're learning, but it's the dumb mistakes. You know what I mean? If we don't make any dumb mistakes against UT, then I think we fly by them.
What about go ahead, take it.
Yeah, I was gonna mention just stopping the run and getting to the quarterback. That's it.
And what about a bold prediction that you have for this part of the year? It's October 15th. By the way, the weather finally got turned down here in Tuscaloosa. It had been cranked to 90 for I don't know. That was the minimum. I'm serious. It was hot. It was hot forever here. That was as cold as it would get. It just was it stayed at 90, and then it would just go up. And then today somebody turned the heater off. So as we get into this time of year, what's your bold prediction?
My bold prediction: a lot of top 10 teams are gonna fall. And these next 2, what do we have? Let's see, we got 2 more games in October.
Yeah,
left in October.
No, you have just 1 more game in October because you have Tennessee, and then you have an open week.
Yeah, you got the bye week. Okay, yeah. Another top 10 team is gonna fall as the intensity get turned up. I don't know. I'm scared. You know what I mean? I'm afraid. I'm going hard for BAMA all day, every day, but I'm afraid. it's the dumb mistakes that cost us. You know what I mean? We are so talented, man. But I like us to beat Tennessee if we're playing a good mental game. I really don't. I think like one of our biggest problems is the play call too. I feel like we need to get more physical on the ground. We're not winning games about the running game. You notice that, right? Where that's our pride and joy. But we're not running it all this year. I'm not really a Jace McClellan fan. I like Jam Miller. I like how physical he is. I like how quick he is, and I like his ability to read the hole. Jace McClellan is not that guy. They need to sit him.
Ralph, do you have any other points, man, before I move to my next caller? This is it's been good. Are you a first time caller, Ralph?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely a first time caller.
I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah. It's not Ralph from Denver, by the way. I'm from Florida, BAMA, so I need them to adjust that, you know. I don't know if you know who Vivian Malone is, but that's my whole family is from Tuscaloosa, and, you know.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's what's up.
I'm from Florida.
I'm going to update that on the pen. I was like, Ralph from Denver. I was like, oh, man. I was like, we got some Colorado fans calling in. I was like, thought you'd be calling in about Prime. All right, man. Well, thank you so much for calling in and calling again. I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
All right, man. Did Ralph wrong? Oh, man. Someone was talking about the transfer portal inside the comment box, and Coach Prime just said, he was like, we don't even necessarily worry about recruiting because we just go to the transfer portal. And that's kind of like everybody that follows recruiting, or that used to, right, about all these high school prospects, that recruiting has completely changed. That's almost inundated because it's obsolete, because now you just go to the transfer portal and you fill up on needs. So all that, recruiting and going for 2024, 2025, yeah, it's cool to think about, but I mean, these guys are going to get here and they're going to sit behind guys who are coming from the transfer portal 100%. And it's going to happen more and more and more. So where the world of recruiting hasn't even started, because you don't even know which guys are in the transfer portal. That is the real world of college football right now. And you're seeing it happening now. So all this, the recruiting rankings and all that stuff, that's cool. And you're going to get those guys eventually. But really, it's about, exactly, like Scuba's like, I don't even follow recruiting anymore. Why would you? It's like, it's the transfer portal. And who's going to be in the transfer portal? And does that fit your needs based off guys who are leaving into the transfer portal? So that's how rosters are going to be filled up from now on. Okay, we'll take a couple more calls. We got a 337 and we'll start right now. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
This is David from Louisiana.
What's up, David? I appreciate you calling in, man. Welcome to the show. Alabama survives Arkansas by 3 points. They survived Texas A&M by 6 points. Up next, Tennessee, where Alabama's favored by almost 9 points.
I don't know. It's going to be a tough game. People don't realize Tennessee, they got a good coach, good head coach. They do got some playmakers. They have the 17th ranked defense in the nation. Alabama has the 15th ranked defense in the nation. It's going to be a slugfest because Hoople, however you say his last name, he wants to beat Saban again. Everybody wants to beat Saban. It's going to be a slugfest. If the offensive line can mesh and get together, we have the weapons. It was like yesterday. We only had, 50-something yards total rushing in the first half of the game. And within, 4 minutes or so of the third quarter, we was over 100 yards rushing. I don't understand why you want to stop doing something that's productive and then say, oh, well, let's just throw the ball because we got an average quarterback that can throw the ball. I don't care what anybody says. He is average quarterback, period. Look, I like the boy. He's good. He's fast, but he's average. Our offensive line, for the most part, is average. This is not the Alabama that we know of from the past years on offensive line. If we could sneak Jonah Williams in or somebody that played at Alabama and get them in a disguise, maybe we'd do better on the right side or the left side. Something's got to give. If not, it's just going to be doomsday. Now, I believe we can beat Tennessee because our defense only allows, from what I've seen, about 4.5 yards per play on average. Tennessee, they're out of the East. They don't play nobody. That's probably why they're ranked 17th in the country, in the total defense. They're around the same, about 5 yards or so, 5 yards a carry or per play as well. LSU's ranked 110th in the nation, allowing 7 yards per play. Their secondary is trash. I'm sorry. They do got an offense. There's no doubt about it. They got a good running back. I can't remember the boy's name. And then they got little Daniels, who looks like a little toothpick running around out there on the football field. But if he gets hit by one of our good linebackers or defensive ends, he's taking some chances. I've seen him try to jump over people and get power drive in the ground. And it's a wonder he even got up and walked off, not being toted off on a stretcher somewhere. But it's going to be interesting the rest of the year. I believe that even if Georgia does get beat, I believe Alabama can still make it into the playoffs. If we win the SEC championship, even if Georgia does fall, not saying to Florida, but against Missouri or Tennessee, if they both win, stay in the top 25, it'll be a top 25 team that beat them because they're still Tennessee and Missouri is still ranked in the top 25 as of now. So there is that possibility if a top 25 team does beat Georgia, because we lost to what was Texas? The number 6th, 7th team or whatever? They were the top 10 team that beat us. So I believe there's a chance that even if Georgia does fall to one of those top 25 teams, we could still possibly squeak in. I don't know. I'm saying it's a possibility. But I agree with just about everybody else that the voters, AP or whatever, does not want to see Alabama back in the playoffs ever again. Ever again. Ever again. If they can do it, if they can cheat somehow to keep us out of there, whatever, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. And as far as Alabama ever rushing the football field, it was October 28th, 1956. It was playing Mississippi State in homecoming at Bryant-Denny Stadium in front of 25,000 people. Alabama won 13-12. They actually have newspaper clippings of it, that Alabama rushed the football field. The last time that any Alabama fans ever rushed the football field was whenever we beat Auburn in the 90s, and they some students rushed on the field at Legion Field and were arrested and handcuffed and put up by the wall. So that's the only 2 times that it's ever been done.
Thanks, David. I was wondering about that. So I appreciate the history on that, because I was thinking, I was like, wait, all these teams, everyone gets to rush the field. Alabama just wins so much that they don't even have to rush the field. So it's like, I don't know.
But they said there's only 4 teams. In the modern era, there's only been 4 teams that have not rushed the field. In the modern era, which is, I guess since 2000 or whatever, which would be Alabama. I don't know who else, and I don't know who the other 3 are. Probably like Vanderbilt, or I don't know. Teams that don't ever win. LSU, they'll rush on the field if they beat Troy or something. That's how crappy that fan base is. But anyway,
let's run through these questions real quick. Okay, so we knocked out number 1, talking about kind of the Bama. But give me your thoughts on Jalen Milroe. Let's keep it concise. We'll fly through these 2, 3, 4, and 5. Thoughts on Milroe? Average
quarterback. He does have his moments where he does shine, like his long ball. He is accurate at times with his long ball, but overall, he's, I say, a little bit above average, not much.
Bright spot on Saturday.
The poor defense. I mean, the defense stayed on the football field probably, it seemed like 20 minutes of the possession, of the game, in both for the 60 minutes. It seemed like they stayed on the football field for over half of the time that the game played. If it wasn't for defense, we'd have probably lost.
Keys to beating Tennessee. What you got?
Everybody's got to play their game like you're supposed to. They got to run their routes properly. They've got to protect Milroe to give him time to throw. If he does not see nothing open, but he sees an opening for him to take off running, he's a 200-something pound quarterback that should be playing middle linebacker the way he looks. He should be able to truck over a cornerback or somebody with ease instead of running out of bounds. I know he don't want to get hurt. I know he's trying to impress the NFL scouts and stuff like that, 'cause that's coming up here in another year or so. He'll be going into the draft, and that's why he's staying in the pocket longer. He's trying to be an NFL-style quarterback, a pocket quarterback. But that's about all I have on that one.
Okay, and let me ask you about what we got. Bowl prediction. What's your bowl prediction for I don't know. I'm asking like bowl prediction. It's like October, college football wise. What you think in terms of like a bowl prediction that you can give us for right now?
Well, if we went out, it could be in the playoffs. I don't know what bowls that would be in the playoffs. But in reality, our offense looks like they'd play in the Tampax Independence Bowl, and our defense could play in the national championship for whoever or whatever. I mean, it's just that simple, and it is. I mean, as far as I'm not knocking our receivers and running backs, and not completely knocking Milroe. It's the crap offensive line that cannot block a Girl Scout defense coming at them at times. It looks like it's sad. But if everybody gets on the right page, if we can beat Tennessee by 10 points or more, if we can, which I believe this team can, if we can beat them by 10 points or more, it's getting to the point where Alabama is going to have to beat several of these teams that are left in the SEC, which is Tennessee, LSU, Kentucky, and Auburn. The last four teams that we got to play in SEC schedule, from what I see, it's going to have to be style points to impress these voters when it comes to the time to start putting people, in playoff contention. Where would they be at? Would they make it to the playoffs and blah, blah, blah. So there's going to have to be a lot of style points. And if Alabama can do that, with this being the last game of October, and give Nick Saban a good birthday present before LSU comes into Bryant-Denny, and not get overhyped. And I think a lot of it, in a way, was like, oh, we beat Texas A&M in their stadium, and they might have been riding off of that and thinking, oh, we'll just blow out Arkansas. Well, they should have blew out Arkansas. I mean, it almost looked like it was a Colorado game, being up so many points, and it was one of them nail biters. It's like I said, you never know what Alabama team you're gonna get from week to week after that USF game. You just don't know who we're gonna have. Are they gonna come out and just dominate and beat everybody by 30 points the rest of the year, or are we gonna be 3 points? Because if we keep winning games by 3 points, even the SEC championship, them voters are going to be like, this is not a playoff caliber team, even though they've only lost one game. They're looking at these other teams that are like Washington and Oregon and Penn State and Michigan and Georgia, which Georgia's been kind of iffy themselves lately, that are going in and just like beating teams 21, 28 points. I mean, they look at that stuff. They look at that stuff. People don't believe it, but they look at that stuff. And I agree with Coach Saban whenever he said people can knock Arkansas all they want with their 2-5 or 2 and whatever record they had when we played them, but they are a legit team. they are a good team. You know, I mean, yeah, they missing some parts, but for them to come back like they did on us and come close to beating us yesterday, and played all these other teams like LSU and everybody else, and only lost by, 7 points or less. I'm telling you, if they get the right parts in the next couple of years, if they don't fire Sam Pittman, Arkansas is going to be a threat in the SEC. Well, it won't be the SEC West after this year. It's just going to be a super conference or whatever it is. So, and we might not be playing the teams from the West no more. We don't know what's going to happen. They just screwed up the whole college football and the SEC, in my opinion, whenever they done that. But I'm glad we won. It was a nail biter. I was cussing, throwing stuff, like just about every other Alabama fan whenever they started coming back on us. But like I said, if everybody gets on the right page, because 1 minute it looks like they're on the right page, and the next minute it's like, well, there goes, Burton over there bumping his gums, and hey, come over here and get in front of me. I'm going to show you what I can do. That's all fun, but got to be careful, because in big games, you do something wrong, that umpire or referee who might be an LSU fan throws a flag on you and sends you back 15 yards, and there goes, a chance of winning the game. Things have got to, these players got to chill out, especially Burton with his little attitude and stuff and his anger management problems. But anyways, other than that, brother, I'm getting off here. God bless everyone. God bless this great country. Y'all keep praying for, I guess, peace over in Israel. And with that being said, roll tide.
Roll tide too, buddy. Appreciate it, David. Thanks for calling in. That was David. This will be our last call, 615. So our 256 and 773. You guys go ahead and hang up. And another 256 just called in. I don't want you guys waiting on the call line. So I appreciate you guys' support. Donna, thank you very much for the super chat. I see Bama beating Bama, not other things. I see Bama beating Bama, not really other teams beating us. This is great. This is a great point. By the way, thank you very much, Taylor, for the super chat as well. Yeah, this is a great point. I mean, this team can beat itself 100%. They almost beat themselves against Arkansas. And that's what's so frustrating about this team. And just as David said, is like the offense could be playing in a different bowl game than the defense. The defense could be making the playoffs, and the offense could be playing in the Citrus Bowl or something like that. So yeah, Donna, I really think that's a good point, and that's probably it. This will be our last call of the night. It's a 615. But before I get to it, so these are the questions. You guys saw the questions. Toby, who is our great fan from Leeds, Alabama, he texts me tonight, and if you don't know Toby, he's a big fan. He became one of my good friends. That I see before every single game. I'll post a picture of Toby when I can on our next show. But this is Toby's take to the questions. Is Alabama a top 10 team? He says no. And number 2 is like thoughts on Jalen Milroe. He needs to roll out more and throw the ball away. Spot on. The bright spot against Arkansas, what was it? He says the defense. Keys to beating Tennessee. He agrees with me. We are on the same page, and he says play all 4 quarters of football. And his bold prediction is for Washington to lose. So thank you very much, Toby. We appreciate your support and for you texting in. Thank you very much. 615. Let's do it right now. Hey, what's going on? Thank you very much for calling in. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Kyle, what's up, man? This is David from Nashville.
Hey, what's up, David? I appreciate you, man. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, man. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, man. How's it going? So, all right, I'm going to go rapid fire on you real quick. So, number 1, you could line the 50-yard line with free money, and Alabama fans are not going to rush that field. Number 2, watching Terry and Arnold try to tackle KJ Jefferson, it looked like, have you ever seen one of those nature videos where it's like a killer whale and it's got like the baby seal, and before it eats it, just like throws it around back and forth? That's exactly what that reminded me of. Number 3, the SEC has won like the last 232 national championships.
if we beat a ranked Tennessee, a ranked LSU, we beat a good Kentucky team on the road, we beat our rival on the road, and then we go to the SEC championship and beat the 2-time reigning national champion, we're going to make the playoff. There's, I mean, that would have to be some crazy scenario where we don't make the playoff. And last on this opening rant, I'll just say that I feel as though I could be an offensive coordinator, and that's because I have a gift, and the gift that I have is ignorance. I'm not some guy who played football my whole life and knows everything there is to know about football, and I think that's to my advantage, because here's what I would do. I would maybe call some run plays that are really successful, to say like Jamarian Miller and Jam Miller and Justice Haynes, and instead of just handing the ball straight to him and have him run right into the middle of the bunch, I might pitch him the ball and then watch him run around the edge, and I would see like, wow, this is really working. And in my ignorance, I would go, well, I'm just going to keep doing that. and it probably would never occur to me to stop doing that, and then say, well, you know what I'm going to do instead? I'm going to have Jalen Milroe just drop back, stand, survey, and then try to make a dead point accurate throw across the middle of the field. Now, call me crazy. That's how I would handle it, but I don't know much about football. But apparently I could get paid like $1 million and something dollars, because somebody's getting paid a whole lot of more money than I get paid to make decisions that, to me, common sense says these are the things that need to be done. Now, I'm admittedly being tongue-in-cheek. Tommy Rees knows far more about football than I'll ever know in my life. But I do think sometimes you can outsmart the room, is my point. And I'm sure he's a great guy, and I think he's probably going to be a brilliant coach. And I think sometimes he makes really good decisions. But there are other times where I'm like, hey, buddy, if it's not broke, just don't try to fix it. You know, sweet mother of pearl, just hand it to Justice Haynes and let him run down the field. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, if you do the math, Tommy Rees, guess how much he's getting paid per month? Does anybody know? Sound off in the comment box.
I don't want to know.
83.
Because I don't feel like throwing my phone across the
the bi-weekly on that is, let's see. Yeah, the bi-weekly is $83,000 every 2 weeks. That's what he's getting. Right? And Sark was getting 75. So, I mean, yeah, these guys are playing at a different level. I mean, I think that when you look at this offense, you know, it has to start from running the football. And then, you know, that could free up some of these deep balls that Alabama's doing. We haven't really seen that much creativity. We saw it kind of a little bit against Texas A&M with like a jet sweep to Amari Niblack. Coach Daniel did bring up a good point. There was a key moment in the game where Jalen Milroe was able to find Amari Niblack, and then he found him kind of on that tight end route. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but basically what Alabama did, and this is actually credit to Tommy Rees. So Alabama actually started the formation out with Amari Niblack as an eligible receiver, but then they shifted over, which made Amari Niblack an eligible receiver, and that's why when he caught that touchdown pass, he was unaccounted for because of the defense. They didn't understand that he was eligible to catch a pass. I thought that was an interesting point. So good to get Amari Niblack involved. I think there was a super chat in here that I wanted to get to because it asked a good question. I'm with David from Nashville. I appreciate it. I was round out the show. Why so much pressure on Jalen Milroe? This is a great question, and think about it. All these guys are playing on Sundays, right? Bryce Young was the #1 pick in the NFL draft. You have Tua Tagovailoa, who's balling out with the Dolphins. You have Mac Jones, who's barely surviving with the Pats, but he's still playing in the NFL. And you have Jalen Hurts, who just took the Eagles to the Super Bowl. So those are the quarterbacks that most recently left the University of Alabama, and that's where the standards are at for the quarterback position. So that's why it's so highly scrutinized. Every single program, right? We talk about the quarterback, but specifically here, those are like the guys who are on the quarterback wall of the most recent Mount Rushmore. Those guys, I mean, look, I get it. Yeah. People love Coker. People love A.J. McCarron. People have great respect for, you know, you can even go back and Jay Barker, who won a national championship. But most recently, what those guys did at Alabama, those guys are the top quarterbacks, right? I mean, Bryce Young, this is the first pick ever. And people were like, well, he's not the best quarterback. Yeah, he was. He's the best quarterback. He went number 1 in the NFL draft. Look at all the records that he put. Look at what Tua did, right? And those guys were driving Ferraris around. But that's why there's so much pressure. Okay. Anyways, David, let's rapid fire through this real quick. What is a bold prediction for mid-October and when we look to the world of college football?
Oh, we're just kicking right on down to the last one. By the way, 2 things, just real quick. I don't think Tommy Rees has done a terrible job. There are times where I really like him, and I think Jalen Milroe is doing well. It's just the same thing for the whole team. It's inconsistency, which I'm not saying I could do one bit better. But as far as bold predictions, my problem is all of my bold predictions do not have good outcomes for Alabama. Like, I could make the bold prediction that this will finally be the year that an SEC team does not win the national championship. I could make the bold prediction that the crazy Jordan-Hare voodoo magic palace bites us like it always seems to do, and like it'll be some kind of crazy gypsy moon and we'll go in there and we'll lose. Like, all of my bold predictions are bad for Alabama, so I almost don't want to make one. I don't really know. I don't know. I guess I'll go. It depends on which side of the coin you want to look at. I'll say either an SEC team. This is the first year in forever that an SEC team doesn't win at all, or Georgia will three-peat.
That would be wild if Kirby rolls it out with this team, because, I mean, look, there's a lot of parity, and there's, we've talked about that in terms of the college football world. I mean, Michigan's schedule hasn't even really started. I mean, go take a look at Michigan's schedule. Go take a look at Georgia's schedule. Ohio State has, I guess, the win over Notre Dame that they're harping off of, but a lot of those Big Ten teams don't have quality wins right now. The Pac-12 teams are starting to play each other. That Washington team was a lot better than I thought they were, and I thought Oregon played a good game on the road. You know who I do like is the coach. I like Dan Lanning. I like him. I like Dan Lanning. I think you throw him into the mix of way down the road for the Saban guy, because whoever's going to replace Saban, you never want to be the guy directly after the guy, but Dan Lanning could be one of those guys. Right. I mean, he's young. I don't even know how old he is, but he seems like he's fired up. Pretty good coach, and has certainly Oregon back on track. All right, David. Well, I appreciate you rounding out the show, man. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the support, and please call again next time, man. I really enjoyed catching up with you.
Yeah, man. You too.
All right, man. David calling in from Nashville. All right, fam. We're going to call it a night tonight. My name is Kyle Henderson at Bama Football on YouTube. Thank you very much for joining us tonight right here on the show, Bama Football on YouTube. Be sure to become a subscriber. I will catch you back on Monday with tons of content. We got Coach Saban at 12 p.m., followed by player interviews, and, of course, more content scattered throughout the day, whether that's YouTube Shorts or just videos that are uploaded. So make sure to hit the bell so you guys are notified. Thanks for staying with me tonight. 2 hours and 15 minutes right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Appreciate all you guys, especially all the super chats as well. And thank you to our fan funders. You can become a fan funder by hitting the join button at the homepage of our YouTube channel. From beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Kyle Henderson at Bama Football on YouTube saying good night.